Breakout star, Caitlin Clark's bodyguard.
And it literally pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What? When people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, you're dumb as shit.
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as fuck.
The way Caitlin Clark is being targeted is no longer just a theory, it's a deliberate...
All it took was one Instagram comment to blow the entire WNBA sky high. Sophie Cunningham didn't just stir the pot, she flipped the whole table. Her words aimed straight at the league's top boss hit harder than a playoff foul, leaving fans, players, and insiders instantly divided. And the chaos that followed? It might just reshape women's basketball forever. September 30th, 2025. While the Indiana Fever wrapped up their season, Cunningham was casually scrolling through Instagram until something made her snap. She stumbled across Nafisa Collier's jaw-dropping press conference where the Minnesota Lynx star exposed a private conversation with WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert about player salaries. What Engelbert allegedly said about Caitlin Clark, let's just say no one who heard it stayed calm. Collier stood at the podium, her tone controlled, but her message absolutely lethal. She revealed how months earlier she'd asked Engelbert what the league planned to do about rookie pay, especially for stars like Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Buchers, who were dragging record audiences and sponsors into the league. Engelbert's alleged response? Unbelievable. The commissioner supposedly said Clark should be grateful for making $16 million off the court, because without the WNBA platform, she'd be making nothing. And if that wasn't insulting enough, Engelbert allegedly doubled down, telling Collier that players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal she negotiated. The arrogance was unreal. At that point, it wasn't just about Clark anymore. It was about every woman who'd built this league while leadership took the glory. Collier's statement wasn't a rant. It was a direct hit on everything broken at the top. She called the WNBA's management the worst in the world, even while praising its best fans and best players. She laid out how she'd reached out to Engelbert back in February, during Unrivaled's preseason games, looking for real answers about pay equity, and instead got brushed off like she was asking for charity. Multiple insiders later confirmed Collier had been venting to teammates about the conversation for months, quietly building her case. The fact that she chose that moment, her exit interview, to go public wasn't random. It was calculated, precise. And with that single press conference, Collier didn't just call out the commissioner, she cracked open the biggest power struggle women's basketball has ever seen, with collective bargaining talks boiling over, and the October 31st deadline breathing down everyone's neck. Nafisa Collier dropped her bomb right on schedule. She wasn't just venting, she was cornering league leadership at the exact moment it hurt most. And make no mistake, she wasn't talking just for herself. As vice president of the WNBA Players Association, Collier was the voice of hundreds of women who'd spent years biting their tongues, watching the sport skyrocket in fame while their paychecks stayed insultingly small. When Collier brought up accountability, it wasn't vague outrage, it was a hit list. She cited refs making outrageously bad calls and facing zero punishment, league executives shielding incompetent officials, and players getting fined for simply telling the truth. This wasn't emotional, it was surgical. A perfectly timed dismantling of leadership she clearly believed no longer deserved her trust. Then, there's Sophie Cunningham, and she's no ordinary WNBA player. She's built from a completely different mold. At just 6 years old, she became Missouri's youngest black belt in Taekwondo, mastering discipline and controlled aggression before she even hit middle school. That same fire carried over to basketball, but her defining trait isn't power, it's loyalty. When Cunningham left the Phoenix Mercury to join the Indiana Fever, fans instantly saw she wasn't just another guard. She was Caitlin Clark's muscle, her protector, her bodyguard, the one player willing to throw hands when refs turned blind. All season long, Cunningham turned defense into defiance, squaring up whenever Clark took a dirty hit. And then came June, the Connecticut Sun showdown that would make her infamous. When J.C. Sheldon shoved Clark to the floor after a hard foul, Cunningham didn't hesitate. On the very next play, she stormed in, grabbed Sheldon, and executed a full-on takedown straight out of a combat reel. The arena exploded. Benches cleared. Cunningham got ejected instantly and hit with a $500 fine. But that punishment only made her a legend. Within hours, her jersey was completely sold out nationwide. Over 800,000 new followers flooded her socials in 1 week. Overnight, she became a symbol. The fearless enforcer every superstar wishes they had on their side. Fans started calling her Clark's bodyguard, the woman who did what officials wouldn't, protect the face of the league and the fines. They just made her louder. She roasted the league on social media, cracking jokes about starting a GoFundMe to pay Clark's $200 fine for criticizing refs. She called out officials by name, demanded accountability, and never once apologized. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to what she did that Tuesday afternoon after Collier's press conference. Cunningham's Instagram post wasn't just a comment. It was a digital nuke. It made every previous fine, fight, and controversy look small. In one post, Sophie Cunningham didn't just defend a teammate. She declared war on the WNBA's entire power structure. Before we even get to Sophie Cunningham's explosive response, let's take a step back and grasp just how ridiculous Cathy Engelbert's alleged comments really were. The numbers don't just poke holes in her argument, they obliterate it. Caitlin Clark signed a 4-year rookie deal with the Indiana Fever worth a grand total of $338,000. Her first-year salary? A jaw-dropping $76,535. For context, Victor Wembanyama, the top NBA draft pick that same year, inked a 4-year deal worth $55 million, making over $12 million in his rookie season alone. And here's the kicker Engelbert seems to have completely missed. Clark was already a global megastar before she ever stepped foot on a WNBA court. In her senior year at Iowa, she'd locked down a $28 million Nike deal and pulled in over $3 million endorsements while still in college. Her final NCAA game versus South Carolina drew 18.7 million viewers, peaking at 24.1 million, making it the most watched basketball game on ESPN since 2019. Not women's basketball. Basketball, period. That includes every NBA Finals, every men's March Madness showdown. All of it. And yet Engelbert allegedly told players that Clark should be grateful for the WNBA giving her a platform. Really? Clark was the platform. The league didn't make her famous. She dragged them into relevance. When Clark entered the WNBA in 2024, she didn't ride the league's coattails. She handed them a lifeline. ESPN viewership skyrocketed 170% from the year before. Fever home attendance jumped from 4,000 fans per game to over 17,000, forcing them to move to bigger arenas just to fit the crowds. League-wide attendance exploded 48% across all teams. Even powerhouses like the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty started moving their Fever matchups into NBA-sized venues because ticket demand was off the charts. The WNBA then inked a $2.2 billion media rights deal, and multiple executives openly admitted that Clark's drawing power was the reason the networks even cared. 6 different broadcasters hit all-time viewership records, every single one featuring Clark online. The numbers were just as insane. Over 2 billion video views across social platforms in one season. Merchandise sales up 600%. Analysts confirmed that Clark's rookie year generated more money for the league than the previous 5 seasons combined. But sure, according to Engelbert, Clark should be thankful for the exposure. The irony's so thick you could cut it with a knife. The truth? Clark didn't need saving, the WNBA did. And instead of gratitude, the commissioner allegedly told her to be humble. That's not just tone deaf, it's delusional. And then came Cunningham's Instagram detonation, a knockout combo that hit harder than anything thrown in the octagon. Under a viral post about Collier's press conference, she typed exactly what the entire basketball world was thinking. People only know Cathy because of C. She's the most delusional leader our league has seen. Then came the follow-up. All caps. No hesitation, full fury. And it shouldn't ever be about our commissioner in the first place. The internet went nuclear. Within minutes, screenshots of her comments flooded every timeline imaginable. Fans picked sides. Comment sections turned into digital battlefields. sports networks scrambled to cover the chaos. Analysts called it the boldest player statement against league leadership in modern sports history. Cunningham didn't just speak, she detonated a truth bomb the league had been dodging for years. What happened next turned an Instagram post into a full-blown player revolution. Other WNBA stars immediately began liking and sharing posts backing Sophie Cunningham and Nafisa Collier, creating a tidal wave of solidarity that league officials simply couldn't ignore. Even Stephanie White, Clark's own coach, added fuel to the fire, calling Collier a strong woman in the middle of the chaos, a subtle but unmistakable sign of whose side she was on. Unmistakable sign of whose side she was on.